Hello everybody, it's Crumb Game Development, and in today's video I'm going to be going over how can I add multiple character nicknames using the same code. So I had two ideas for what this meant, and I'm going to go over both of them. First of all, the simple just defining characters, which I do not think is what they meant, but I'll go over it real quick. And then the other thing, which is what I actually think they mean, is giving characters nicknames based on, when they're talking, who they're talking to, stuff like that. And that is what I'll be going over. So giving a character multiple nicknames. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into that. So first of all, as you probably guessed, you're going to want to go into Ren'Py and click on Script. And from here, you go up to characters. Now, if they were just talking about simply defining multiple characters, you can just use the define and then give it a short name like E or L or just something short that's going to be easy to put in later. So that way when you're using that character, you can just put E and then the quotations and not have to worry about typing in the full name, especially if it's a longer name. So you can see E is just for Ellie here, but that's not what I think they meant. So there's three main ways to add multiple names for a single character. And the main way to do this would be just to define the character again. So for example, define E2 equals character, and then do something like, I don't know, like L, I guess. Just like a short little nickname for him, and then when you actually want to use that version of the character, instead of typing in E, you would instead of typing in E and then the quotations, you would type in E2 and then the quotations. So that is a very, very simple way to do this, and you can see more of that here. Of course, we were using the character POV, which is the user input name, but if we wanted to actually just give a nickname like, I don't know, like Jock or something, we could do define J equals Jock and then, call on that name later on. But for this one, we have the simple defining another character. So why is this in here now? Is that always there? Am I crazy? But yeah. And then there is actually another way to do this, and this one's a little more complicated, and that is defining the name in the text, which would be something like, it would actually be easier to go over to this one for this. So this would be like doing this, and then of course the name's not E now, so let's try to hit the right button, but then doing POV dot name equals, and then it's switching the POV name, so instead of POV I'll call him like brother or something. And now this character is going to show up as brother until you eventually either change it back or the game is over. So it'd more likely be changing it back, and then you would do just once again the $sign POV dot name equals, assuming I'm doing everything right, I'll have to go test it, and then switching it back to the user input name. So yeah. Of course, I don't even know if you can switch it back to the user input name, so then we'll just switch it back to like, CGD instead. But maybe you can put this in there, I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time testing stuff because that's wasting all of our time. So let's just go ahead and launch. Which game did I do this in? Yeah, the new student. So we switched their name in there with the, it should be switched in there. So obviously right now we have the user input name, which is going to be Patrick. And then eventually it should switch to brother. Right here. We switched it to brother. So it's still the same character talking. It's just we switched it to brother manually within the text, and then we switched it back to CGD. Or if you have a predefined name, then you could switch it back to whatever the predefined name was for your characters, and that would be a lot easier. With user input names, it's a little different, but with user input names, I really don't think you would use nicknames anyways. So, yeah. And then there is still one final way to do this, and I'll go over this really quickly. So this part can be really confusing, and don't get frustrated if you don't understand it right away. So first of all, you're defining your characters up here, and I have Alice and player, and that's about as simple as we can get with this without diving into super complicated stuff or stuff that just seems overwhelming. Not that it's super complicated, but it feels overwhelming at times. So First of all, what you're going to do is you're going to ask the player what they want to be called, and you might be confused on why this doesn't look like what we're doing here. Don't worry about it. It's just basically a different way of getting the name. We're just using a variable instead. So instead of like actually defining it as that, we're just using a variable. That way we can switch it quite a bit. Hopefully that makes sense. So first of all, we're going to ask, what would you like to be called? And this is what everybody will call us except for certain people. So in this situation, pretend we have a family, as you usually do, and you know, we have certain people like our girlfriend, and she's not going to call me Bob, she's going to call me Babe, or my sister is going to call me brother and not by my name or something like that. You know, if that's how you want your game, obviously. So for this instance, we're just getting what I want everybody to call me, because you know, everybody can call me John except for certain people like my family or my girlfriend or whatever. They're going to call me different things. So right now, in this situation, we're just going to pretend like Alice is our girlfriend. So what would you want like Alice to call you? And we're going to call this Alice title, this Alice title variable, or you can title it something different like boyfriend title and just keep putting it in for Alice. Or you can do Alice title, so you know every time Alice is talking, you do the Alice title. And yeah, so we're getting the input for that too. So we're getting two different inputs for two different names, and one is going to be what Alice is going to call us. You can see what we do here, nice to meet you, and then we do add in the Alice title, whatever they typed, and I'll call you that from now on. And hello, I am, and then we're just doing the regular title of what we want everybody to call us, and that'll be like John, for example. Hello, I am John, nice to meet you. And then nice to meet you, and we're going to type in Babe for this, and she'll say nice to meet you, Babe, I'll call you that from now on. So that's a very simple example, and you can obviously add as many of these as you want. I hope this doesn't sound too complicated. You know, you can do like add another variable and do mom title, and then equals. I know I'm typing really slow. It's because there's so much stuff on my desk. And you can see I can't even type. Obviously, I could have copied and pasted this. But, you know, why not make things harder myself? What would you like mom to call you? And I'm doing this because I think it's more, I mean, it's a little simpler to watch somebody do it. That makes it easier to, you know, apply it to your own game. So I'm just creating one from scratch. That way you get the idea. And then we can define M as mom up here. Might as well do that. Did I do the wrong? I did. Mom. And then we'll add mom down here, and we will just M. And then, how are you doing? And then we can add the bracket. So obviously this will be mom title in this situation. I'm finally going to copy and paste something because I'm getting tired of doing it. How are you doing? Control V. How are you doing, Alice title? But we're going to switch this to mom title because this is what we want our mom to say. So how are you doing, mom title? And then go ahead and put the question mark. And this should be like, how are you doing, son? Or whatever you type in here. So I know that may have been long and way too overcomplicated, but if we save it, we'll get a live view of what this will actually look like, and I think that'll make things a lot easier to understand. Assuming I didn't mess something up, let's see. Doesn't look like it. So what would you like to be called? This is what I want everybody to call us. We'll just make ourselves John. What would we like Alice to call you? That's our girlfriend. She'll call me Babe. And what would you like Mom to call you? We want Mom to call us Son. So you can see I am still player, but I want people to call me John. So this could be like narrator or main character or whatever you want to put. Obviously, you could just put John up here. So you could default do the default. It's like, if you didn't want player, you could do anything like narrator, like I said, main character, whatever you want there. Or you can put a name if you want, but that kind of ruins the input part, so I wouldn't do that. But like main character, narrator, something like that would be fine. So you see he says, hello, I'm John, nice to meet you. That's what we want everybody to call us. And Alice says, nice to meet you, babe. You can see she's using the input name we gave her, so she'll be saying babe from now on. Of course, you don't have to do the input name. You could just like manually type it, but maybe she's not your girlfriend, or maybe she's our sister in this situation. Like, you know, people's fantasies, whatever they want to do. So nice to meet you, babe. I'll call you that from now on. And then our mom says, how are you doing, son? So you can see everybody has a different nickname for us, and this is all defined in our script. And it can be easier to use, you know, if you want those user inputs for people to, you know, make their own story out of it, whether they want us to be, you know, roommates, family members, lifelong friends, whatever they prefer. So yeah, that's how you do that. I don't want to beat it dead because I feel like the more I talk, the more I overcomplicate it for you. But hopefully this makes sense. If you do have any questions, just leave a comment and I will get to it and hopefully explain better for you. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.